This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, hello, good evening, good morning. Fine, I think we're good to start. Rather, we'll wait for a minute more for everyone to join. So till until we wait for the other folks to join, I just want to know: do we have a few folks here who don't have any experience on any industrial experience on testing or anything with the IT, basically? Because yesterday we had two folks, right? Two, three folks, I remember. So just because I just want to start in such a way that we'll start with testing first, what exactly testing is. We'll give a very brief understanding of what testing is, why do we do automation, and then quickly we'll start off with the TOSCA. Do we have folks here with with zero knowledge or who just want to start from scratch?
Yes, sir. I don't have any knowledge.
Okay, okay, sure. Fine, then we'll start. Then I'll share my screen. Okay. Just for the other folks, I'll just give very basic understanding. It's Asha, right? I heard Asha was speaking there. Okay. So, can you see my screen? If you can just let me know what exactly you can see on my screen. Okay, that should
Yes,
be
sir.
the yes.
Visible.
Okay. So Asha, and for the other folks as well. So there's something called in this IT IT world basically, right? There are two very important things. One is SDLC, and the other one is SDLC. Okay, if you can see on
Yes,
the screen,
yes,
SDLC. Okay,
yes,
this is software development lifecycle, and the other one is software testing lifecycle. Okay, our focus would be on STLC. Okay, the screen, the picture what you see on the screen right now behind. Okay, this is software testing lifecycle. This goes into these phases. Okay, there's a phase wherein you do requirement analysis. Okay, planning, test case development, environment setup, or otherwise, rather than environment setup, you say it as test data development or test data preparation. Then you do test case execution, and then you test close it via your report generation, evidences you call it. Okay, so how do we get this requirement? It's basically there's someone called business analyst or your scrum master. Okay, in an agile world, if you go into a project, there would be a team wherein there would be someone called scrum master or a business analyst. He will get the requirement from the client. Okay, I mean, assuming you're creating a new Yono app, assume you're creating a Yono app. Okay, he'll get the requirement from the client. From what do I need to create? How does the whole look and feel of the app should be? Okay, what all should be there on the first page of the screen? Username, password. Instead of password, should I have okay? Or OTP should be there or not? Multi-factor authentication should be there or not? These are all called requirements. So these requirements would be clarified to the testing team or the development team, both the teams, by the business analyst or the scrum master. Okay, they will give requirement. Once they give you the requirement, this requirement would be noted down in some form, maybe in the Word documents, Excel, or in Jira. It's called as story, user story. User stories and all, we'll see that later. Maybe we'll explain you what exactly it is, but just assume there's some requirement which is documented and given it to the testing person. You read these documents, you analyze the requirement. Okay, you understand what exactly is the whole application is about, what we are going to test this time. Okay, based on that, you create your plan, you create a test plan. Basically, test plan is very high level design of what you're going to do. Assuming, as I told you, right, we were talking about the Uno application. You just say that your test plan would be, I will try to see the look. You will get the look and feel of the application, how the UI would look like, what color code should be there, whether any cosmetic changes are needed. Okay, then other than that, you would see the username field should be there or not, password field should be there or not. Instead of password, are we going with the T pins, M pins, or multi-factor authentication wherein you get OTPs and all? Okay, you just write the very high level of it. Okay, and then you do the test case development. This is very low level. We call it low level, but it's very important part. In this low, in this test case development, you write test case in very detailed way, very brief, very detailed way, in such a way that Assuming some other person, if a 10th class student comes in next day and he want to execute this test case, just viewing this your test case is writing, right? Just as soon as he reads his test case, he should be able to execute this test cases. Okay, that's how detailed it should be. Assuming you will, I'll give a very basic example. You write, I'm a user, I log in. Okay, I open the application. What do you see? You should be able to see the app launched. The second step would be, I should be able to see my username and password field. Okay, then expected result would be, it is visible. Okay, these are very minute, very basic details should be there in the test case development. After that comes environment setup, or rather, as I said, it should be test data preparation or test data setup. Okay, where you create your username, passwords, or something. Okay, when you create and use it for your test case execution. Once all this, when this two setups are done, third and fourth, you go for the test executions, where you execute each test cases. This the number three, you execute all the number three using the number four data. Okay, once you execute this, then you'll get the result whether test cases get passed or failed. If it fails, you will raise a defect on the development team. You will ask them to fix it. If it passes, you will capture the evidences. You upload it the particular places where it is provided to be uploaded, or you upload in Jira. You pass into the client. Okay, and then after that, once everything is done, when all the bugs are fixed, when the team sees that there's nothing to be tested, then you provide a test closure by giving a test closure document saying that I have tested all these functionalities, everything has passed. If something has failed, what is the reason it got failed? We are keeping this defect open. We might fix this issue in, you might see in the application side, whenever you open Yono app or any other app, after a few days, after a month or 2 months, you might see the updates coming up, right? What are these updates? Basically, these are defects which were open in the previous releases, you fix in recent time. Okay, and then the updates keep on coming, so your applications, all the mobile applications keep on updating, right? It's because there are defects open, or maybe new features which have implemented. Once they deploy this, you will see the new updates. So same thing, if you have any open defects, you mention it over here that these are the open defects. There are open issues still there in the application, but these are not major issues, these can still go. Then you once this is complete, it means your whole life cycle completes. It's one life cycle. Then again goes with the next, and the next sprint or next month or next release, again the requirement would come. You test, you create your planning, you create test cases, and do this whole platform testing. Okay, this whole testing you do it. Got it? Any question on this, Asha, or anyone else?
Got it, sir.
Okay, fine.
So this will be based on the sprint cycle, or it's like one-time setup at the start of the
See,
project?
okay, fine. So we have two things. Good thing, good question you have asked. There are two type of testing methodologies earlier which we used to do. Is one was waterfall method. Okay, there used to be waterfall methodology. Okay, it's called usually called as V methodology. It was very old method. Okay, this is waterfall. The if you see there's something this whole flow as in STLC remains same. Okay, this remains same. The way why we were using waterfall is basically, as I think you gave the answer itself at the starting itself. We used to get the requirement early on the stage, and there's not the requirement, you just get the whole project. You get the whole project document, says this is my product, this is how I want it to be. You just build it and give it to me. Okay, the whole development team will create the whole project. They will deploy it, give it to testing team will test everything, every functionality, and then gave it, they release the project. But in that case, the problem with the waterfall methodology was the the client, if they want to change something in between, it was very difficult for them to change anything in between. Okay, they cannot get, they used to get the fix, they get to their new features deployed or change in very minute way. Okay, it was not the concept basically. Then came the agile methodology. Okay, wherein we totally discarded this whole policy of using this method, wherein they used to give the requirement early on. Okay, the whole requirement phase itself, or to read the whole requirement itself, used to go for 1 or 2 months. Okay, to understand 1 or 2 months, this whole process used to go for 1 year. Okay, but now this doesn't happen in agile. Right now everyone is following agile methodology, and the reason being is it's very fast process, it's very good for business. The reason being is it happens in a sprint phases. Okay, what is sprint phase? So you'll get a 2 week of sprint. In this 2 weeks you get a chunk of, let's take an example of this application which we're talking about, right? So first thing is in the first week of sprint, okay, the sprint basically contains 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depends on the project team. In the first sprint, they'll say that I just want to build the first page of the application, just the login page. Okay, your focus would only be on the login page. Okay, if in case, assuming in the first week or after the second week, the client says no, I think I might need some other changes. Maybe I want to introduce multi-factor authentication, wherein your OTP goes not only to your mobile, it should be authenticated in the email from the email address as well. In that case, you can collaborate, you can adapt to these changes. Agile basically means adapting. Okay, you are agile enough, you are adaptive enough to accommodate new changes anytime. This wasn't the case with the waterfall methodology. Once the requirement comes up, there were a lot of things to be had to have to be gone from the starting. So I mean, if the design is done, if we have started testing, and if someone comes and say that I want these changes in the requirement, this never used to happen. People, the development team or the testing team will go ahead to the client and say that we might charge more, we might to bring these changes, we will charge more, we have to take a lot of efforts. So the timelines usually used to be fixed. They used to say that this 1 year we'll do everything in this 1 year and complete it. Okay, but in this agile methodology, there's so much agile, I mean, there's so much adjustment can be done. The development or the client team comes up and says, I want these changes, I want this new requirement to be implemented, just do it into 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's where they started using sprint methodology. And along with this basically helps the whole customers, okay, to bring their new developments or to fastly get this. So assuming you create the application, right? Assume you want to a mobile application wherein you log in, you check your transactions. You just want this very basic setup right now. Okay, you can deploy it, you can deploy in the Google Play Store. People will start, your customers start using it. Okay, the next feature, assuming you want to enhance or implement the credit card sections on your application, that is not necessary right now. Maybe your customer don't need credit card section right now, so you won't build it. You will keep it for the next release or maybe next sprints and all. Okay, so in that cases, your products will keep on going. You don't have to wait for 1 year for this whole requirement to come up or be deployed. Okay, but for in this agile, you just deploy after 1 or 2 sprints, or one sprint is done, you can deploy it. The product is to the customer will start testing it, they'll start using it basically. Okay, so that's why we still go with agile. So your question was to this whole flow STLC will remain same for both the methodology, waterfall as well as agile. But right now, let's focus on agile because I don't see any organization using waterfall methodology. Everyone is moving to agile. Got it? Any other question on this front? Okay, I'll take it as no then. Okay, fine. We'll move forward with there's something called, okay, fine. We'll go with TOSCA. Basically, what exactly TOSCA? We will not go with the installation first. Installation we will see later, but I'll just make you understand the look and feel of TOSCA. Once you install TOSCA, what all do you see on your screens? Okay, once you install TOSCA, basically the first thing you would see here on the C drive is something called TOSCA projects. Okay, the installation file will definitely be on the program file 86. Tricentis, where everything which you install, it will come under program file 86. That's done. But there's something new which you see on the local drive C. Once you install it, you will see something called TOSCA projects. Okay, wherein it talks about your Commander workspace common repository. Let's talk about these things. Okay, let me launch TOSCA Commander once. So for now, just for your understanding, we are using TOSCA version 2024.2.5, which is the latest version. The basically it's called 2024.2.5 is the patch. Okay, if in future someone asks you which version you have worked on, you can say I worked on 20.2. Okay, that's the latest version for now. Currently working on 2025, but it's still in progress. I think it is not yet deployed yet. So once I launch Tosca Commander, there are different ways to launch it. You can just write Commander basically. Okay, it will give you Tosca Commander or just Tosca Commander. There's way to run it from command prompt as well. You can from command prompt, you can open command prompt and write the path of this Tosca Commander, but that's totally unnecessary. I don't think we should need this. Let's keep things simple. We just go to Windows, open Tosca Commander. Okay, Windows or Commander. you'll get TOSCA command once it's installed. Okay, installation path, don't worry about it. We'll see it in future in one or two classes how the installation works. Okay, base once we give it the licenses to everyone, we'll start installing it from the scratch. Okay, but let's see the look and feel of it. If you see over here, there's something called recent projects. Okay, there are different projects which you can create and you can analyze or get access over it. Okay, and on the right side you can see online tutorials. There's an academy section wherein you can go for your certifications, online help phase for support and all. There's knowledge base, basically um, any critical any scenario based questions which testing or team has found it, they raise a request to Tricentis team. Okay, and based on that, Tricentis team will just give me a second. Okay, so sorry for that. So knowledge base is basically wherein people would have raised their concerns or queries in the knowledge base. So even if you face some issues similar to that, you need to go to knowledge base of the Tricentis, and you can, if you find the same queries which is already being raised, you can directly use that or implement that. Or in that, if that is not resolved, you can always contact the support, wherein you can raise your ticket, or you can chat with them to get your issue resolved. Okay, this whole functionality, if you see over here, this is not readily available in any other automation tool like Selenium or Cypress or Playwright. You can Google and get the solutions, but you won't get a customer support or a support basis or a knowledge basis. Okay, segregately separately for this, like the way you get in Tosca. Okay, you can see what all new features are there. Okay, and the new versions. Uh, Presumably, I assume that in future, in 3 or 4 months, if you get Tosca jobs, okay, you won't be working on 2024 anymore, right? Maybe you'll the new version 2025 2026 will be released. So in that cases, you will see the new releases, the new features of Tosca being over here. Okay, so coming back here, if you see there's something called open and something called create new. Open basically is you are trying to open a workspace which is already being created. Okay, but before opening, let's create a new workspace. Understand what is new workspace. See, workspace is basically your test notepad. Okay, when you go to exam, you have a notepad, right? Where in notepad, what do you write? You just write your tests or whatever exams which you give, right? Similarly, a workspace is wherein you write your whole project here. Once you create new, click on create new, it will give you an option to configure workspace. Okay, and to configure workspace, you might say the select type of repository. None, you will have option of none, SQLite, Oracle, MS SQL Server, or DB2. When you use select none, right, it basically is you are creating a single workspace. Single workspace in the sense you are creating workspace for yourself, just for yourself. Okay, where only one person needs access to data, only you are the one who is working on it. It is very useful for those people who don't have licenses, like people like us, where we're going to use free licenses. Okay, or the trial versions will implement where we can use single workspace or none. If in case when you're going to work on the real time projects, right, no one uses none here. They go with SQLite or Oracle MSQL or DB2 based on what database is their whole project is being stored on. They use any of those. Okay, maybe I'll show you, for example, just for to get the look and feel of how this works, I'll show you SQLite, how SQLite also work. But let's go with single workspace. Okay, once I click on single space, there's something called, it will tell you that you're creating a new workspace in this particular location. Okay, but for that, before that, you need to give a new workspace name. Okay, I just give today's date. I'll give 9th July as my name. Okay, and before clicking on OK, just make sure of this. There's something called use workspace template. I'll show you what exactly is this. It's very important thing. Once you click on use workspace template, it will give you a particular location. Okay, of location of standard.tsu file. Now let's go back to this location and see what exactly is this. I copy the location and I see here there's something called standard.tsu file. So every data, everything which you're assuming, if you know Python or any other language or C# or Java language, right? Whenever you create your project, when you save the file, it will be stored in an extension called .py for Python. Okay. Similarly, whatever anything which you create in Tosca, or when you create in Tosca and you try to export it or save it, it will be saved in a TSU file, in a TSU extension. like this .tsu. Okay, so this standard TSU is something which is created by the TOSCA, Tricentis TOSCA team. Okay, these are inbuilt or very generic templates which will be used by you in quick form. Like assuming if you want to launch a browser, right? You don't write the script for how to launch a browser. There's a standard template which is already provided by the Tricentis team that use this module and your browser will be launched. They have given take screenshot as one of the module. Okay, you don't need to write a separate function for take screenshot. You just need to use that take screenshot function. Just provide the path of the where do you want to take the screenshot, and your work is done. Okay, so that's why the standard TSU is one of the most important thing. You just need to understand what all standard TSUs has been provided. Most I think at least 40% of your work is almost done by the standard TSUs. You need to understand what exactly this TSU file contains. Okay, if you want to operate the Excel functions, okay, there are a lot of Excel modules which is already present in the TSU files. If you don't select this workspace template, you won't be able to import that. Okay, once you select this, it says you are importing standard.tsu. Okay, and from where does I get the standard.tsu? If you say we got it here in this location, right? But how do you got it? Once we install the Tosca, this is automatically get placed over here. Okay, this all these files which you see over here, this is already get placed over here. Okay, so two things which we learned: whenever you create any Tosca file, okay, assume I create a new project in the Tosca. Okay, and if I want to export, if I want my colleague to work on it, okay, or want to see my project, in that case, if you're not working on a multi-repository, if you're working on single repository, assuming let's take an example of two folks from in this project. Okay, assuming Asha is creating this project. Okay, and it gives she has created the whole project, and she wants someone else to verify it. If she wants me to verify this, okay, once she create the project, she will export the project. Will show you how to export the project. She will export it. She gave me, and it will be exported in a .tsu extension. It's called .tsu extension. She give it to me. I will copy that TSU. I'll import in my Tosca, and I can see the same work which she has done. Okay, it is similar to uh, any coding language. Whenever you create any Java file or Python file, you just create the file, give it to the other person import in their IDE and use it. Okay, any question on TSU, what exactly TSU is? Fine, we'll go ahead then. So once you click on this use workspace template, you get the option to import the TSU. You click on OK. So in a matter of second, we saw the workspace name was 9th of July. Okay. Okay, now if you see over here on the top, TOSCA commander 9 July. Okay, it's the 9 July is the date when the workspace name which I gave. And if you come back here, we saw, right? I told you, right? In the C drive, you see TOSCA projects. Click on TOSCA project, and then you have three folders here. Let's not focus on these two. We'll see these later. But the most important thing which you are working on is Tosca workspace. Click on Tosca workspace, and you see 9 July workspace is being created. If you see, this is today's date, just now 9:22 p.m. This is where my workspace is created. So you can launch Tosca directly from here using right command Tosca command, and you click on it, or you can directly come to your workspace over here. Just double click on 9 July, and that's where your Tosca would be launched. Now you can see whatever work you are working on, it will be totally launched over here. Got it? Any questions on this? Fine. Not, then maybe we'll move forward and see what exactly how this whole workspace looks like. What exactly this whole thing is. Uh, Very stupid thing, but not useful. You can have the customized themes on yourself. You can have a dark version, light contrast, and all that is where it is being given. But let's keep it simple and use the most feasible one. Okay, use the first one, the light theme, and you can see here there are different sections where a home, view, tool, API testing, add-on, and project. Okay, when they click on project, go back and click on project. You might see there are options of info, which basically gives you this login. It is logged in by admin, workspace name, workspace location. Okay, compact workspace is basically if you have a lot of projects which if you worked on a lot of projects, I mean the workspaces usually be 1 GB or 2 GB. In that case, you compact it so that your workspace or your project or your whole Tosca works properly. You just need to in time wise you have to click on compact workspace. Okay, not needed as of now. Okay, not very important also. There's something called options. In options, slowly once we start working on test cases, creating automation cases, then we'll see. But right now there's nothing useful over here. It will come, it is just default, we don't use it anymore. But this is one option wherein you can have your some settings to be enabled. Okay, not important, just not focus on it. Settings also the same thing. These are the different settings. Maybe if you want to take screenshots, okay, in that cases you can use these configurations. Okay, these are Doku Snapper, wherein if you want to take if you enable this, it basically create your whatever you execute, right, it will create a Word file with all your screenshots in it. Okay, so these are the settings which we'll see later. This, if you see over here, this environment data, which basically your location where exactly your uh, file, the report file or the result file will be generated. Okay, so we'll understand these one by one. We'll see once we start executing, we'll get to know the functionality or the use of each of this. Okay, why do we use? There's a use of everyone, every part of the settings. Okay, fine. Nothing more about Tosca. Just click on it, you will get the your version 2024.2.5 2.5. Okay, and then accounts not needed, license not needed, close workspace. If you click close on workspace, your whole workspace will be closed, and you see the workspace compact set. This is the auto functionality. Whenever you close Tosca, the compacting will automatically start. Okay, so now this whole workspace is nothing. This very small workspace, right? We just created it. There was nothing in it, so the compacting got finished very soon. But if the workspace is huge, in that case, this whole function, this workspace compacting will take a lot of time. Okay, so now what did we see? We just saw how to create a new workspace. Okay, but this is called single user workspace. Okay, that's what we saw. Let's see how SQLite will work. Okay, if I click on SQLite, you might say there's an option called use existing repository, but we don't have any existing repository. We're creating everything from scratch. Okay, once you click on it, you'll see create a new repository, and I'll create a new repository in this folder. Same thing, similarly, I'll just give 9 July again, but you can't have same name for two different workspace. I'll give uh, multi-repo. Okay, multi, I just give multi. The difference between the earlier one and this one is the earlier one was, as I told you, it is a single user workspace wherein only one person is needed to access the data. But in the multi-repository, assuming you have team of 10 people, in that case you create a admin person, basically create a multi-repository, and he gives the path of this particular repository and people uses it. Okay, so in that case the 10 people would use the same repository. Everything which you're going to keep on adding, assuming Asha adds one test case, some other person adds one test cases, it will, after at the end of the day, once you check in your changes, the everything would be reflected in this particular repository, this 9 July multi repository. And again, next day you come back, you can see everyone's changes, not just yours, everyone's changes. But in this single workspace, in this single user workspace, you cannot see other people. You are just working on your own. Okay, once we do that, similarly, as you remember, we talked about this workspace template, right? If you click on it, you'll get standard TCU. This is very important. No matter what kind of workspace you create, you need to have your standard TSU file to be imported, because most your core modules is already there in standard.tsu file. Again, click on this, make sure this is present, click on OK then. Okay, now it will start creating it, and I click on it's done. Now your multi repository would be created. Now in this multi repository, as I told you, right, uh, assuming is the admin, assuming I'm the admin, I created the repository, so I might not need any password. I didn't configure any password here. If I click on login, I'll be automatically logged in. But admin person, as I told you, right, we assuming we have 10 people here, so I'll create 10 different users with 10 different passwords for them, so that every person, if assuming for A1, assuming some person with A1 is working, if has some 123 password, he should be able to log in, he should be able to see the changes. Okay, similarly for admin, he is the core person. He don't need any particular credentials. I click on, I can see everyone's changes. And being an admin, I can revoke anyone's check-in, check-out. We'll talk about what is check-in, check-out. I can see everyone's changes. I can modify everyone's changes. Okay, being an admin. But let's not focus on that. Let's see this section. Okay, this whole section. What exactly is this? So we saw two main things: how to create a workspace. One is single user workspace or multi-repository workspace. Okay, we use SQLite as the option, one of the options. There are three more options, but we just use SQLite. Okay, now this whole function, this whole section on the top right, this top function, this home view tool versioning API, this thing, it's called as ribbon menu. Okay, and this sections, this test case, modules, requirement, test case design, this everything is called as tabs. These are different tabs. Okay, and this is a project tree. Okay, this is test case is a project tree. If I just right click on it, if you click on expand all, it's basically I'm expanding the tree, right? And then there is something at the below. If you see something already, it's called status bar. Once you start executing, you might be able to see my execution passed, execution failed. This status bar basically tells those things. And at the right corner, okay, I think I close it. The right corner, something called properties. Very important part. We'll see what it is, but it basically, if I click on any one test case, you will see the node path of this test case. Node path means the exact location of the test case. Okay. Uh, Let me explain you what exactly this. Created by admin, it's created by me, whole workspace, so it is showing my name default. Okay. There's two very important things in this. One is unique ID and node path. Okay. Modify it and modify created it is also important, but let's focus on this node path and unique ID. Okay, so as you're working on a multi-repository, right? Assume so your test cases won't look like this. Okay, there might be hundreds of this list. There might be hundred or maybe thousands of these test cases. Okay, in that case, if you want to locate any particular, if someone says I want that test case, which you maybe some other person has executed it or created it, and you want to see how he has done it, or you want to review the test case. Okay, review how he has designed the whole test case or coded that test cases. In that case, you're now going to test. You're now going to go by one on 100,000 test cases, right? In that case, this unique ID basically comes into play. Okay, all you need to do is if someone says I want that test case which you have created, I want to see how you have designed it, what all logic you have implemented, give me the unique ID of it. Okay, then in that case you come to that test case, assuming this is my assuming let's take assuming this is the test case, this JSON is that test case which someone has created, assuming Arjun has created a JSON test case and Asha needs it. Okay, I click on JSON and you will see there's a different unique ID over here. If I click on somewhere, you might see the unique ID will change. Okay, if you see this unique ID kept on changing. Okay, so every test case, every single thing, if you see over here, this also has a different unique ID. This is hexadecimal unique ID. This will which will be different for each test case or each folder also. So assuming this JSON folder, which I have created, I want to send it to someone else. I'll just copy this and I give it to my the other folk using Teams, Skype, whatever meeting channel or option. I'll give it, pass it on them. Okay. So in that case, once you give it to this, no matter which at what location, assuming you are in configuration location or execution location, okay, all you need to do is you come back here. There's something called object. Okay. You click on object. It will ask you enter a unique ID or node path. Just paste the unique ID. I'll click on jump. You'll automatically be jumped to that particular location. Got it? Any questions on this? No. Similarly, on the node path as well. Instead of unique ID, I usually prefer everyone in my organization also. Everyone prefers unique ID. You can use node path as well. Similarly, it basically gives you the total path. So if you see over it, it's under test cases. Under test cases, is a standard module example. Under that, there's something called engine. Under that, something called engine. If you see, this is the whole tree function. This is how the tree look like. Test cases under test case standard module examples. Under that engines. Under that JSON. Okay, this is just a tree flow. This is my parent, child, my grandchild, whatever it is, and this is how the whole functionality look. But this is whole being converted into hexadecimal using this unique ID. Okay, if you use just this also, I think this should also be enough, but sometimes I've seen this doesn't work. But let's see. I come to execution here. I'll click on object again and I paste it. Click on jump. It takes me back here, right? So you can use node path or unique ID, but the most useful one is unique ID. It's also called as object ID. Okay, just understand object ID or unique ID were very important. These two things. Fine. And then this understood. This is property pane. These two are right now for this whatever we have covered till now. For that, node path and unique ID is the most important thing. Just focus on these two. We'll see later as we go move on with the classes. We'll understand what are different properties are for. Okay, checked out by me. Let's see this also. Now, if you see something over here on this test case, you can see the green color over here, right? What does this green color means is this is being checked out. Checked out means it is being used by me currently. So right now, assuming there are 5 people in the test case in this whole project. So if someone sees green, it means this is being checked out by me. This is I am working on it. Any changes done here will be reflected to me, but other person cannot see right now unless I check in my changes. There's a very core concept of check in check out, which is there in most of the um, repository tools, or you'd say build tools like git repository, right? You might have heard of check in. The code is checked in, code is checked out. This basic what does it mean is, let's talk in very simple terms. This assuming this, let me check in all first, maybe we'll understand this better. Okay, so I assuming I'm working on this virtue folder. Okay, I'm working on virtue folder. I'm assuming they gave me one test case. I'm working on it. I'll right click on it, and something I can say is checkout. Okay, checkout means I'm going to use that folder. Okay, and there's other option called checkout tree. Checkout basically is you're just checking out the top folder, the virtue folder. You don't have authorization on the below folders. You just have authorization on the parent folder. What you can do over here, you can just right click, maybe create a new folder inside it, but you cannot modify anything below this folder, I mean on this view folder, because you have just checked out this folder. Okay, so you just have the half control on it. If you want to get a full control on it, you just go ahead, right click and use checkout tree option. Once you do checkout tree, you will see the green signal here, green sign over here, which basically means you have control on all the parts. You can do anything, or you can create one folder over here, you can delete, you can do anything over it. But whenever you are doing performing these operations over here, the other folks would not see. What would the other person say? He will see this thing as in a red color, which basically means he will see it as a red color, which means this particular folder is been checked out by someone else. And how would he get to know who has checked out, assuming there are 10 people? Okay, he can, and he wants to work on this. He's not going to ask 10 people, right? Have you checked out, have you checked out? Simple thing, you just right click on it, and you can see option as show checkout details. It will show. Once you click on it, it says who has checked in. This admin has checked in. He might know who's the admin is. Basically, if I use an as a different user, it will show my name. But if I go to some other, if, let's take an example of the above folder only, which is not green mark, right? There's no green mark over it. If you right click on it, you don't see the checkout details here, but you can see the same option over here, the show checkout details, which basically means this is being checked out by me. You just go back to that person and ask him to check in if you want to do changes. Once you click on check in, is how all the changes what he has done will be synced to it. When it is synced into this, so that the next person, once he take update all, he can also see the same changes reflected to him. And if I right click on it, I don't see the checkout details over here. Correct? That's where. And if I just any questions?
Uh, what happens if I don't check out and just start making the changes?
It's not possible. It's not possible to do that. Okay, so if you see above over here, there's no green sign over here. It means it is not checked out by you, right? If I just right click, I don't see an option to create a folder inside this. There's no option over here. But if you see, if I right click on it, you can see the option of create a new folder over here, or create a new test case over here. Okay, so basically unless you check out, you don't get the option to create anything or start anything from the scratch. Got it?
Okay,
Correct.
it's like edit option. Only
It's
once
like
check out, then
right.
I'll get.
Exactly. Once you check out, basically it is giving you authorization to start working on it. Okay, but assuming 10 people have the same authorization, they can also check out. But if you have checked out first, they cannot check in. They cannot check out it. Once they try it, assuming you have checked out this, okay, and if I come back and if I try to check out this folder, I might see a red icon over here, which says that this has been checked out by someone else. So what he'll do, he'll come to this folder and see the checkout details. He will see your name here. he might ask you, when brother, this has been checked out by you. Can you check in? I want to see make the changes or I want to implement something. You will ask him that you need 5-10 minutes. You will complete your work and then check in. So after completing your task, you click on check in all. This all the changes which you have done is implemented. Then again, he'll come. He'll take the update all. This update all basically to sync to sync both the repositories. I mean your workspace and his workspace, because whatever you have worked on, it will not reflect to on his system automatically, right? There should be some mechanism in between which will sync between these two systems. So we use update all over here. Whatever changes you have done, it will reflect on his system only after you click on update all. Okay, these three things is very important right now. This update all functionality is hitting a bit, is disturbing every single person every single day on the Tosca projects. Today also, whenever I worked, people might miss on to take on update all at the end of the day. Very important. You every day whenever you come start working, when you start working on Tosca projects, first thing you should do is click on update all, just to make sure all the latest changes. Some people might work on late night, right? You might have few folks who will be working on different onshore times, right? Might be someone working on US time, someone working on Australian time. You might not be able to see the changes. In that case, first thing you do is once you log into your workspace, take update all, and then you start working on it. Got it?
So that means like if we have a same test case and two resource needs to work on it, then it is not possible
It
practically.
is not possible on the same test case. Okay, you have to usually one automation test case. No, it doesn't happen like two people who work on same test case. You maybe work on two different test cases. Only thing possible is you maybe there's one folder, assuming there's one story. Okay, I'll say one story. This story might have different test cases, test case 1 and test case 2. This option. Okay, this folder we'll talk about this. Just give me an example. This create test case 1, I'll say TC1. Okay, maybe you are working on it. Okay, and assuming I'm working on TC2. Okay, so if assuming you have checked out this folder, story folder, okay, I might not be able to make changes on TC2 then, right? At that case, at that point in time, I'll come back to you and say that, see, I want to work on TC2, and you have checked out the tree of story. Okay, so in that case, I won't be able to modify anything on TC2. So what you'll do is maybe you save your changes, whatever, just use Control S to save. You can see you saw here, right? Save successfully, or you can use the option over here, save. You save your changes, you check in all. You'll ask me to take update all. I'll come back, I'll take update all, and then I see this is not being checked out by anyone now. So after that, you will come back to your test case and you will check out just your tree. So this will be green to you, and this will be, and if I come back and check out this tree, this will be green to me, red to you, and for me the other way around. You got it, my point, right? If you have checked out this folder, this will be red to you because this will be checked out by me. This will be green to you. Should I repeat again if you didn't get the point? Two test cases, one is worked on by you, the second is worked on by me. Okay, so this should be green to you, and but this will be red to me because this is working by you, this is checked out by you, not by me. Okay, so one test case cannot be worked on by two people. You need to you might be working on different test cases on a same story folder. In that case, make sure you just check out your test case. You don't check out the whole tree. If you check out the whole tree, this whole test, everything under this story will be under your authorization. If I just come back and click on test case, check out the whole test cases folder. Any other person who come back and see, my God, this has been checked by one person, everything, no one will be able to work. You have to forcefully check in everything and start working on it. So the best possible or best practice is you just create your own folder. Maybe under this, you create your own folder. First of all, checkout tree. Sorry, checkout. You create your own folder with your name ABC, and then after that, you start creating your test cases over here. I'll create one test case here, two test cases here, and after completion of your test cases, you move back everything back here in the main story. That's it. Got my point?
Yeah. And what is the difference between like besides the story that's a dark color and besides new test
Test
case
case.
left side? Yeah.
Very good question. Okay, fine. I'll show you. I wanted to show that as well, but very good question. If I check out green now, okay. If you say this is white, this is green. This is because this is already was checked out by me. I'll delete this and maybe I'll show you again. Click check on all this. Okay. I just check out this folder. I didn't check out tree. I'm just checking out. Just check out. Okay. And I'll create one folder over here. This folder under me. I'll create one test case over here. and one test case under this also. Okay, you might see because this is currently being under my in my control. Okay, this is checked out by me now. Okay, now you come back over here and you see that okay, maybe I need whole folder. I'll just click on checkout tree. Okay, so it shows green over. It means these green ones, right? These are the ones you have checked out recently, but you have not made any changes on these. But these ones you have checked out earlier, previous to these green ones, and you're working on these. It will just distinguish between maybe you have checked out this earlier, these ones earlier, and later at some point in time you have checked out this, which means you are working on these first. Got my point? That's the only difference. Shall I repeat this again?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Maybe I'll just check out this everything again and delete this. See, you might see it is green again, right? So I'll delete this. I'll delete this story. Okay. I'll create
Uh,
a new folder.
Maybe it is like the new test case or test case folder which I am creating as part of fresh. That will be like not the grayed out, right?
X, not green. Maybe it's exactly. That's totally the point. But whatever you have created newly, okay. This were already created. This were newly created, right? Sorry,
Okay.
there was the existing ones. These were the existing ones. I didn't create it just now. After checking out the tree, I created these folders. Okay, maybe I check in all again. Okay, I'll just check out this tree. Okay, you will see these as green. Now, if I create any one more folder under this, you will see it as a white color. Or maybe I'll create. Okay, you cannot create a test case under test case. So I'll create a folder under this and a test case. If you see, these are white because this is what I have created now. These were all already existing ones. These three folders were existing ones. Now if I check in all, okay, and if I try to check out tree again, you will see everything as green because this has already been checked in. The changes were already been submitted. Now if I try to create one more folder under this folder, it will be in a white color, which means these green ones was already checked in. There hasn't been any new changes over here. This is the new folder where you are going to make on you creating going to start new or you creating new changes from here. That's the only, but it doesn't make any changes. You can come back and make changes over here also. Okay, assuming this test case, if anything new you create, it will show as white, but obviously there's no much difference. Only thing is your focus should be if it has green color or white color, which means it is under your control. You can make any changes to them. Okay, it's just a color description, not very complex. Your focus should be on white color and red color, which I cannot show you red color because this is not a multi-repository. No other person are working on this. If you see something as red color, you just right click and see the checkout details. If you see some other person name, it means this folder has been checked out by him. He is working on it, and your focus is to ask him to, if you want this folder right now, ask him to check in, take update all, and work on it. This is the cycle. If it is not being checked out by you, ask the person to check in all. Once he check in all, confirm that he has checked in all, take update all. After taking update all, his changes would reflect on this folder, and then you right click and check it, check out everything, and start working on it. I can repeat this again if you want it. That's not a problem for me.
It's clear. Thank you.
Clear? Okay. Fine. That's the whole concept of folder creation. Let's not complicate this. Once we start working, we'll understand more on this, how to create folder, how to create the structures. Okay. Let me delete this. And one more thing, I think we cannot. If you see over here, there's something I was trying to delete this folder, this new folder. Okay. If I click on delete button, I see the key combination delete is not a command, or this is not a valid command on this list. Okay. If I click on delete over here, it will work. If I click on the last one, it will delete. This will also get deleted. Do you know the reason why it is not deleted? The reason why it is not deleted, because this is under one folder called virtual folder. Okay. Virtual folder is a parent folder. As long as I don't have access to the parent folder, I don't have authorization to delete this. Okay. As once I click on check all tree, right, I just have authorization everything which is under this. Okay, everything under new folder, which is ABC or new folder, that's where my ground is. I can only modify everything over there. I can delete these folders below this, but I cannot delete anything about this, or I cannot even delete this, because to delete this new folder, I'll delete this ABC. It is deleted. To delete this new folder, as you see, the key combination delete is not a command on the selected object. To delete this folder, I need to make sure I check out this parent folder, virtual tree, and then virtual folders, and then click on this and click on delete. It is deleted. Correct. So to delete any parent, any child folder, you need to make sure your parent folder is checked out. Okay. Fine. Okay. And then there's something called customization. You should know how to customize this. There's something once you click on right click, there you can see option of close all but this. You understand, right? Close all means it will close everything, but not this particular folder. This is float, which basically it will make it float over here. Okay, and TOSCA gives you the option. Once you click on it and try to move it here, you can see this icon over here, right? It basically says you want to move this particular section on the right side, on the left side, on the top, or on the bottom. If I select the rightmost, it will select. You can see this whole test case is on the right side. It sometimes give you the more preference if I want to work on test case on this side, or maybe modules on left side. If I same thing, if I just drag it over here again and I click on it, whatever, this is on the left side. Okay, and if we can just drag it over here, so similarly you can work on your modules over here and test cases on the right side. Okay, but this doesn't look good. I would still say you always have it on the main sections only. And to that was the first question. Assuming once you launched it, if something comes out for some reason, okay, this is here and you're not able to move it, you can either directly move it over here, or you can right click and dock as a tab document. Just dock as a, so this basically comes in assuming I click on project, I have something called as a assuming in this is a project root folder. Someone has created new folders in this. Okay, maybe it is not reflecting in your section over here. Maybe you have closed it by mistake. Assume I have closed the configuration, I've closed on issues, I've closed on execution, TCD by mistake. At least if I want to see it again, all you have to do is you come back to your project. I'll close this. Assuming you have closed everything, or modules also you close. I think this is a better example. You have closed modules and you need modules for everything. Then what do? You go on project, click on project, you will see the whole tree structure. Okay, this whole tree structure contains everything what your project has. So what I need module. I just click on module. Either way, there are two ways. You can just drag and drop, which will not work. So you just right click over here and click on this plus sign which says open a new window. It comes over here. Okay, and then you can again use float and all, but what is needed. But if you don't need it, you just right click on it again, click as doc as tab document, or just drag and drop here. So you'll have your modules in place over here. That's it, right? Similarly, if I want execution also, right click on plus sign, it will reflect over here. And to expand everything, you just right click on expand. You have all the structures being reflected over here. To expand more, go to the particular execution list, click on it. These are just normal signs, not important. So most important thing which we learned, maybe, or I would suggest you just go and understand how this checkout or checkout all, or check in tree and update, these four functionality works. This very important one, the very important ones. Okay. And then we were talking when we were creating this whole workspace, right? We saw something as standard modules. So I think I emphasize this on standard modules very much. The reason being is this standard modules, as I told, is being given by the TOSCA test people. They created these modules using a special execution task. Okay, whenever you see this module, go back this. Okay, first these are called module folder. These are folder. If you see there's sign difference, these are folders. Expand this. This is also for this folder. This is called module. This is module folder. This is module. We focus on modules. If you see, the signs are different, right? These signs, all these signs compared to the above one, the signs are different. These are called modules. These are called module folders. So under this for module, once you click on module, come to right side. You see the properties of this. You see at the end it's called special execution task. Okay, all these special execution tasks are basically your standard modules. Wherever you see special execution task, which means it's being created by the Tricentis people, it's part of standard module. I come back here and I click on T-box wait, and I see the same property over here, special execution task wait. Okay, this particular thing is being written in C sharp. This whole thing is being module or created by them in C sharp, and they have given it just to make our work easier, right? When you use T-box screenshot in a test case, you just need to provide few things like where exactly just directory or the file name and just run this. It means it will automatically capture the screenshot. Okay, whatever is there on behind your screen, maybe it will take screenshot of this whole page. Okay, for this you might need to write a lot of functions, but not to complicate your work, just to make your life easier. They have given these basic, very few, most of these standard modules, built-in modules. You can use them and use it. I would suggest you to just go through, just today's would be just to go through each one of them. There might be a lot of them, but try to see as many as you can. I'm sure when you start using them in your regular projects on your regular day, you understand the use of it. But you should know the critical use of it. Okay, there's something called T-box window operation, very important one. This is basically you want to open any window. Okay, I just need to provide Google as my, assuming this is my Chrome browser, right? I provide STLC or the URL here. Just need to provide these details, and it will automatically launch using this operation. Now there's something called open URL. Okay, these are the basic modules which would be used, which is already being created. You don't have to work on them. So that's why, just to utilize these functionality, this whole standard module, we always click on the that checkbox button which we saw at the starting, right, to import them. Okay, these are the different engines for database, HTML, XML, JSON. Everything would be of use, come in later part of your, and the TDS. TDS is very complex and very important structure, very important topic basically. Excuse me, we'll understand this later. Okay, but for now, your focus, if you get time today or tomorrow anytime, just go through them. Okay, if you know this, all of these individual modules, right, I think you know half of, not half, at least 20-30% of Tosca, because this all these functionalities over here does half of your work. That's most of your works. Okay, the rest part is, if you know all of them, you don't need to, assuming I want to create a folder in my desktop over here, okay, from Tosca. You might be thinking, if you don't know about this particular, if this particular module exists, you would keep on googling. You go to Tricentis support community or their documentation or a manual, go back and search. If you know that, just come back over here, drag and drop, use it, create your folder. So if you know it, it will be easier. I'm not saying if you don't know this, things would be difficult, but only thing, it will take few seconds of you. And definitely, there are a lot of questions being asked in the interview based on these. What is file compare? Okay, they won't be questioned directly on this particular module. Maybe they'll ask you, I want to compare two numbers. Maybe I want to know, I have one data in one variable, there's one more data in other variable. Taking example of an account number. Okay, I have one account number of A, account number of B person. I want to validate whether the account numbers are same or not, the numbers are same or not. How would you validate? If you know this particular T box, evaluation box, it would be very easy. You just come back to here expression, and you just add the variables and a sign over here equal to, and verify it. That's done. The whole evaluation will be done. So only if you know this particular modules, you'll understand how to imply this logic. They might ask you scenario based question, but for that you must know uh, what all these operations do. How do I create this box? There's a lot of interview questions where even I used to ask, how do I want to know whether the file which I have saved, assume I'm creating a file, creating or purchasing a document, purchasing something in e-commerce application. Okay, maybe I'm going to Mintra or a Flipkart, I'm buying a cloth, and at the end you will get a bill. You download the bill, and if you want to know where exactly the bill is located, if the bill is downloaded or not, that at that point of view, you just verify this tbox folder existence or the file. There's something called file operations, where you will see tbox file existence. You just need to give the path where the download path where the files are located, and give the file name, and then that's the verification will be done. So you should be able to know what exactly this file existence. If you don't know what is file existence, you might not able to say that. Where do you verify, how do you verify the files which are downloaded? Okay, if the file exists. So this whole thing is will come into play in not only on this particular example which I gave, lot in SAP. SAP is a lot of downloads of the files have been done, right? A lot of files get downloaded. So in that case, how to verify the existence? You use this. You can verify the compares. You can compare the two different set of files. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So understand process operation, start program, very critical. If you understand this, that's, I would say, it works like a champ. You can do a lot of things which most people won't do. If you know how to use this, I would still say, even I don't know maybe the proper usage of this. I've used it, but I'm not explore the much. You can do anything whatever you can do using command prompt, right? If you're using command prompt, anything what you can do over here, you can just use dbox start program and you can perform anything over here. Okay, you just need to provide path. Maybe you'll give a cmd over here. If I do give cmd, it will automatically launch a cmd, and any argument you pass over here, this you pass over here, it will work same similar to what you perform over in the start command prompt. Okay, so slowly we understand this. I'll give you one particular location, one file path in the group chat if possible. So maybe, yeah, fine. I'll try to find this path, this whole manual where exactly you will understand the use of this particular, what exactly this do. If you want to understand more, you can use something as right click and description. And if you expand this, it will basically tell you what exactly this particular functionality does. Okay, it says the parent says it saves a screenshot of the current screen to the specified path, and you can use, see, it says optional, which means you don't need these three paths. It's just the optional one if you want it. This is mandatory. You just need to give the file name. Okay, just to understand this, you can get this in tbox or sorry in Tricentis manuals and understand each one of them. Okay, fine. That's pretty much, I think I would say there should be enough for today. On the time, we didn't explore much, but yeah, mainly I think you would have got the very basic understanding how Tosca thing, I mean, the whole Tosca looks, or how to create a workspace basically. Okay, check out, check in. We'll explore more on checkout, check in. It's very large concept. We'll understand once you start working upon it. We'll understand more on check in, checkout. Fine. Any questions? I think we're good to take questions on if anyone has any question.
Uh, Arjun, today is my like first
Srikanth
class.
is this side.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I think let Avinash speak. I think he came up first. So Avinash.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Avinash, please.
So my query is like, so you mentioned like you will be covering topics of SAP as well
Mm-hmm.
as Salesforce, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Sure. We'll definitely do that as well.
Okay. So like for these, like, do we need like a licensing of this SAP?
No, no. We will just use the free version. See, you don't need to. I'll tell you something very Avinash. To perform these operations on it, or to perform the automation, if you know how to do the UI automation, you basically understand everything. SAP is the most easiest automation, I would say, with Tosca at least. It's just very easy. I don't know how to explain it. You just need to scan it. You put efforts in UI scan, basically in UI automation. You have to make elements unique based on the properties. But you don't have to do anything on SAP. Okay, I'll show you. I'll maybe install the SAP. Will perform few flows, understand it. There are few scenarios like in table scenario where you get the complexities. We'll understand that. But once you understand that, no matter which product you go, if you know the functionalities of SAP, the whole SAP automation is very easy. Yeah, SAP is basically the concept itself is the ocean, but automation is very easy. At least from Target, it's very easy.
Okay. So
So,
my query was like, just if we want to do practice, so like
mhm.
for
you
that
can you
I
can
asked
you
like,
can have you can freely. I think you can download free servers. I can maybe I'll show you exactly how exactly we can do that. But you can do it. There's no need of licensing or cost optimized tools. You can always have a free SAP particular locations to install it.
okay. So the same with the Salesforce as well, or
Salesforce as well. I think we'll go with the open, the free. There are few more options. If not, I maybe I'll show you few. I'll get few projects or some particular websites wherein you can utilize it. But yeah, we'll try to optimize it. Definitely for licensing, we cannot go with the licensing one. We don't have enough budget to go with licensing. But yeah, we'll definitely see few applications wherein the Salesforce can be handled. Don't worry about it. This whole technology, different technology or time with the frames, right? I'll handle those.
so in our day-to-day classes, like you'll be taking example of SAP or Salesforce
We'll,
majorly, or any
we'll
other
UI first.
websites?
We'll start with the website which is given by the Tricentis, right? It's given the demo workshop, or there's car workshop. Also, we'll go with that. We'll understand the major concepts of whole Tosca. right? How to automate the whole application, and then slowly move. Because as I told you, right, once you understand the whole concept, how to utilize the modules, it is pretty easy to automate any application, whether it is app or Salesforce. Just understand the basic concept, you itself will feel it's pretty easy to automate.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
focus would be at the starting phases, just to understand the whole concept. How do I create modules? How do I create test cases and put an execution list? And then maybe we'll start with the SAP and Salesforce slowly. Eventually, it might be after 10-15 classes, we'll start working on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Shrikant, you were asking something.
Yeah. Hello, I am audible, right?
Yeah, you're audible to me. Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
My experience is manual testing with Salesforce CRM. Yeah.
are. Hmm.
Like I worked on like the Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. Can
Hmm.
I know like in these classes we are covering like email to case assignments like or
Uh,
upload CSV files like that
uh,
sort of
the
scenario.
these are the basically the functionalities which you're talking about, right? See, if you can come up with the functionalities, we will try to automate that.
Right.
You
Right.
give
Sorry.
you give me the functionalities, I will try to automate it. I'll just show you how exactly to automate the how should you use this particular tool to automate it. That would be even. I think it's very good for us that you
Mm.
are if you join us the batch, because you might know the whole Salesforce functionality. We'll try to implement it. We'll do the whole SAP Salesforce automation based on your test scenarios. You might be aware of more complexities, how
Okay.
to where do we need which all clouds we use, sandboxes we need, how to migrate or jump to different sandboxes, or how do you automate in just one sandbox and maybe replicate, or you don't need to create every test case for different sandbox, right? Your one test case should be compatible enough to work on the other sandboxes as well, right? So we'll implement that in
Yes.
with
Yes.
using your experience. Yeah, the
Okay.
functionalities, if you
Thank.
give it to us, we will
Thank you.
implement that.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Any other question?
Hi Arjun, this is Arun.
Yeah.
This is my first
Yeah, Arun.
class. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Arun.
Yeah, for about the TOSCA license, how many days you will get for practice and all?
I think you'll get for 2 months with one email address. But as if you want it, I will try to
Okay,
get as many email address you have. I think we can get for 2 months for each email address.
okay. Because I'm having 3.5 years of experience, but I'm
Okay.
having career gap, so I need to
Okay.
restart
Okay.
my journey in that. That's why.
Sure. No problem. No problem. We do have people here. No problem. Arun. Well, I think 3.5 year in manual testing, or which technology?
Yeah,
Which tool?
functional and
Okay.
manual testing.
Manual. That's more than enough. I think we can. You can always have with. I'll assure that with this end of this course, you
Okay,
can easily show yourself as 2 or 3 years of experience in Tosca. We'll make sure of that. Okay.
okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay then. Fine then, guys. We are over the time.
And
I hope.
I have
Yeah.
one question like,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
do you have and weekends we have classes or only we 5 days
Uh,
only in the week?
no, only
Like,
weekdays. Only weekdays for now. At least for now, weekdays. But if you
okay.
guys need extensive support on weekends, maybe we can look at it. But for now, just I have planned only for weekdays only.
Yeah.
And that
Okay.
to this time is suitable for me because my office ends very late at 7:30, and that's when I get time. Otherwise, yep.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you do? Are you comfortable only on weekends?
No, not like that. Not, but I am just asking like,
Okay.
there
Okay.
is any like, if
For now.
weekends only classes, that is also fine for me.
Okay. Okay.
Like because I also log out in 8:30 p.m.
Okay. Okay. For now, yeah, I understand. 8:30 and then again log into 9 for classes. Okay, I understand that. But we'll try. If you have extensive approach. See, I know you coming what background you come from, Shrikant, from Salesforce. Definitely, I think the Salesforce Tosca with Salesforce is booming a lot nowadays. And last 4-5 months, what I've seen is Tosca is capturing all the Salesforce market now after SAP. So yes, it's a good thing for you. I think it would be good, helpful for if you join this group. I think it will be helpful for everyone. We can use
Mm.
your functional knowledge, maybe your scenarios, and we can automate this functionalities and we understand more on it. It's
Okay,
good.
sure.
But yeah, we'll make sure that we capture everything from
Yeah.
Salesforce to SAP.
Mm.
I mean, actually, I think you were
Y-
yes. Yeah.
Yes, like the interview support you will be giving like
Sure. See, my version of teaching is every day whenever I teach any functionality, right now we just talked about very simple functionality, right? Okay, this is not even useful like check in, check out, or update and all, but the sync and all, it is sometimes being used in the interviews, right? Just to understand if a person knows basic of what is check out and check in. If I check out my folder, can anyone else check out it? And how do I verify if I can if it has been checked out or not? So these are very simple questions which you will be asked in interview. And my focus will be to every day I'll try to give you that. I'll maybe say emphasize on this particular question, saying that this might be asked in interviews. That's the way. If I'm teaching any modules, if I see any particular topic, then I'll tell you basically, okay, this is very important. This is asked in the interviews. Okay, because I totally have experience of more than 6+ years on taking interviews itself on Tosca or Selenium or Playwright also. So my focus definitely the first and foremost thing in any training is just to make sure you guys get a job. That's the most important thing. Learning and all will come after, but first thing is we have to feed ourselves. First thing is to get a job. So that would be my focus every day when I teach. At the end, I'll tell you that these are the important things. Or whenever I teach, I say this is very important. Just understand this concept. Just as I told you, right? Check in, check out, and all. You just go back, and I'll ask you to go back and see, or Google it, or go in Tosca manual, understand more, read about it. Once you read it, you will understand it. I think you can answer better. Even if I don't, I just give you the concept. Also, you can once you read those concepts, you will phrase them better in the interview. If a person asks you, you can give a proper statement in a proper statement way, what check-in is, what checkout is. Okay, so that's what my emphasis on. Definitely, interview perspective, that would be my priority. Definitely.
yeah. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay then. Fine then, guys. Hope to see you tomorrow then. Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank you, Arjun.
Bye bye.
Bye.